Well, it's week 3 here at Southside Speedway. Fans start to file in and get ready for racing action. Now, tonight, we're going to have the highlights for you as always, and we're going to cover the Billy Morris story. Before the season even began, Billy Morris was an issue, and we'll keep focused on that as we talk to Billy Morris and many of the Grand Stock drivers about exactly what's going on in the Grand Stock pits and on the Speedway. Jerry?
Some drivers have already felt the sting of the gray area, which is now becoming black and white. Carburetors have been removed and replaced. Spindles have been found to be too big. There are other issues to come on this, too, as the officials crack down further.
All that and more. And Yvonne Alzuro also joining us tonight as we continue with Southside Speedway Illustrated.
Welcome back. I'm Jerry Reed. What we're going to talk about tonight with Billy Morris in particular is the fact that people at the top take the heat when they win. Billy Morris, who won 10 out of 14 races last year, 8 poles, drives a new car that has the same setup on it that he had in '87 when he won the championship. In the interim also, this car has won 2 track championships with Lynn O'Neill. Now we'll talk to Billy Morris about a few things. Mainly, Billy, are you cheating?
No, sir, not hardly, not in the least little bit. I've heard everything from the engine's illegal to the car is illegal to Wayne Patterson's driving the car for me by remote control during the races. I've heard it all, but no, we're not cheating. No.
In no way, shape, or form is there anything illegal on this car, because we know your hood's been up and you've been checked from stem to stern by the officials, so you're satisfied, everybody's satisfied that this car is just a good car for this track.
Well, I don't think everybody's satisfied, but the ones that cry the loudest won't protest it, so, you know, I don't know what to tell them. If they say it's cheated up, then protest me. That's all I can ask.
Well, I feel he's legal. He's just done his homework. That's always been a good car anyway. So when Lynn O'Neill owned it, it was a good car, and it's still a good car. We just got to catch him.
Work harder. We worked every night this week till 12 o'clock trying to run faster. If you think he's cheating, name one thing to do. $200 to tell you.
Well, I think it's pretty much legal. You know, he's been racing for a long time, and he's got a good car, and he's going to be competitive all year long for the points championship. He probably would have won it last year. Would have been for some miscommunications on the wall and stuff like that.
Lynn O'Neill did the same thing with the car. It's been out here for 4 or 5 years, and it's been checked and rechecked, and hasn't anybody found anything. I think they would have found it by now. I just think it's the right hookup, the right setup and the right powertrain, I think, and he spends a lot of time on the car to make sure it's right. I think Billy Morris deserves a lot of credit in the car. I don't think it's cheating.
I think Billy's got a chassis that's hooked up, was built specifically for this track, and I think people are selling him a little short by accusing him of cheating.
But you look at the history of that car, it's shown over the years it's been the car to beat. And until somebody, you know, the officials really buckle down and take a look at what he's got. I mean, I'd like to see it myself, but you know, he runs awful good. He does a lot of work on the car, and we're just all trying to scramble around and catch him. We can't seem to catch up to him.
Do you feel like with the dominance he's had over the past couple of years that maybe the officials should actually take it in their hand and actually go through the car a lot more thoroughly than they have been?
Well, yeah, I believe that, and I remember some years back when I was running real good, and it seemed like I really got nitpicked super hard, like pulling cylinder heads and stuff like that, which they don't seem to do very often. And yeah, I'd like to see the officials, you know, pick up the pace and make sure that everything is right.
It's hard to say. The car's been strong for the last 4 or 5 seasons out here. Billy's got a reputation of being a strong racer and knows what to do to make it fast. So that's a hard car. He's just a good racer. Is about the only thing I can say about it.
Wayne Clark, a lot of issues over the off season. As a matter of fact, you do a show out of Hopewell, WHAP, called Short Track, and there's been a lot of issues on that about Billy Morris. He seems to be the main topic, as a matter of fact, during the off season. Is he legal or not?
Well, I like Billy a lot, and I think he's legal. I think he's just a good driver, and he's got that car really dialed in. And we're running 3rd in points right now, running good. So hopefully we can get this WHAP Thunderbird up in the front.
Now, be serious with me. Travis Ryan, who also works with you on the show, he seems to think there's something tricking the rear of that car, possibly.
Well, you know, there's been a lot of issues about that, but, you know, I know Billy, and my issue is I don't think it's illegal. I think he's just a good driver, and I think he's trying to win this championship so he can move up to late model next year. I hope we can just keep with him. You know, we're gonna have to capitalize on everything he does wrong.
They check it every week. Maybe they don't like what they check, but if they want to put the money up, then, you know, that's all they need to do.
Well, you've also got a teammate this year where you're running with Glenn Jarman. You've been known to help some drivers in the past. Let's talk with Glenn Jarman about the fact of what kind of a team relationship you guys have had. How do you see that?
Well, we have a good relationship. I don't get to see Glenn during the week that much, but, you know, when it comes to the track, you know, I'll talk to him. He might tell me his problem. I might tell him my problem. We'll share things together. I mean, I try to help everybody. I mean, this is supposed to be fun, you know, and that's what we want to have. You know, we want to run good. Everybody wants to win, and, you know, I know that you can't win them all either, so we just want to have fun, you know.
Freddie has Glenn Jarman's comments on this whole subject of teammates helping each other.
You're defending champion. Are y'all working a little closer together than you have before?
Well, I wish he would share some of his secrets with me, but no, he hasn't done that yet. Wish he would.
At every track, there's a driver who dominates, and Billy Morris is obviously the driver who dominates here. Therefore, he gets checked from stem to stern every week he comes out to the track. And we'll go to Bill McGonigal now. He will sum up the Grand Stock drivers' feelings on this subject.
People that's been out here for years have found secrets. There's certain guys like Lynn O'Neill when he ran Grand Stock, these guys found something to make the car get around the track. We're still hunting it. Hey, I don't want him to slow up a nickel. If they want to slow Billy Morris up for me to win, I want to quit. I want to catch Billy Morris, and I want to work to do it and prove my own self. This is only our second year in Grand Stock, and hey, Billy, if you're watching, I'm coming after you, but hey, don't slow up, buddy.
Well, evidently it's put up or shut up in the Grand Stock division. By the way, if you do think Billy is cheating, just send a little postcard that says, I think Billy's cheating, in care of this station, and we'll get it to the sources that count. In the meantime, there have been some drivers already week 3 that have been found illegal. We talked to those drivers, and we talked to John Christianberry as we get the lowdown. Let's go down to late model stock car pits as Freddie Clark catches up with Rusty Wood.
Thanks, Yvonne. Well, repercussions have been felt already here at Southside Speedway. We're only 3 weeks into the season, and already there's been some DQs and some parts taken. Let's go to Rusty Wood now, driver of the 51 late model car here at Southside Speedway. Last week had a little problem with the carburetor. They told you couldn't run it for the race. You ran so well at Martinsville, and the first week out you even led out here, and all of a sudden last week you find problems.
Yeah, that's what they said. It went through inspection in Martinsville 3 or 4 times, no problem. First week he had no problem. Last week, you know, say it's not right, so. What can you say? I mean, you know.
Now, the man who checked the car down in Martinsville, he's pretty well known for being pretty strict on that.
Yeah, Lynn Carroll, he's pretty thorough. I mean, if anything would have been wrong with it, I feel like he would have found it down there.
And they let you run this carburetor the first week here, too. It was teched, correct?
First week here was fine, no problem.
And who made the final decision here at Southside on that carburetor?
Christianberry.
All right, let's go to Yvonne as he catches up with John Christianberry.
Thanks, Freddie. We're standing here with John Eagle Eye Christianberry, head tech man at Southside Speedway. John, most of them fans remember from last year's show, we talked about the gray areas, how some drivers felt there was a sense of misinterpretation of the rules. Already this year, we've seen where 3 drivers have either been DQ'd or had found parts that were illegal. Are the officials at Southside cracking down on the actually on the rules and making sure that all the cars are equal underneath the hood?
Well, yeah, we may try a little bit harder than we did last year. Yeah, we've got some more help this year.
How so is it going to be different? What are we looking more this year than, say, in the years past?
Well, you know, they talk about gray areas. There aren't any gray areas. Now, these are stock cars, and the things that you can change are listed in the rules. We don't attempt to list all the things that you can't change. So that's where people come up with the gray areas.
Now we're going to go down to the Charger pits where Jerry's caught up with one of the drivers who felt the sting of these talons.
Catching up with Ricky Sanderson in the pits, a runner in the Charger division. We want to talk to him about the possibility that early in the season people are already looking at carburetors, spindles, all kinds of issues. Ricky, you had an issue with your Rochester carburetor, and we understand from walking up and down and talking to most of the people that it's supposed to be a 1 1/4 inch opening on a Rochester. What was the issue with you?
It was too big, the Ventura, and it was too big. I've run it for 4 years, and it's been checked before, but all of a sudden it's illegal, and they just said I got lucky, and I don't understand it. That's all I know.
So did they make you remove the carburetor, and they kept the carburetor?
Yeah, they kept the carburetor.
All right, so now you have the 1 1/4 Rochester like everybody else?
This is 1 1/8. It's even too small.
But there you have it, folks. One of the first people to run afoul of the rules, and for 4 years he had run the same carburetor. Now it's deemed illegal. And you in particular had a little problem with oversized spindles. What was the outcome of that?
Well, some people were saying that the spindles it makes the car wider. It helps you in stability, but yet the rotor is what's bigger, and it can hold more stress, and it's more stable for the car. It won't break as easy for the torque that we're turning in the corners here. It depends on how the people are braking. If you set a tight car up, the small ones will definitely be bad because you're going to put a lot of bind on the rotors and brake easier.
But as far as you're concerned, it was a safety issue because the small spindles break easier, so you put the big ones on to keep from maybe taking a trip into the wall.
Yes, sir. It was exactly what it was. I ran them. I've been running them for the last 4 years I've been running. This is the 5th year. I can't run them this year, so it's a totally new setup for me, getting used to the small ones. And I've never broken one in the last 4 years I've been running.
Well, there it is. It's a safety issue with some drivers, but it is definitely an illegal part when you run the big spindle. Now we're going to go to the highlights, and if you think we're in the cheap sheets, wait till you see what Yvonne found.
Welcome back to Southside Speedway Illustrated. Thanks for hanging in there with us. And looks like it's time for tonight's highlights. 3 races and 3 poles for Billy Morris as the Grand Stocks opened the night's events. John Eversole would start the event from the outside front row. Keith Cole and Bobby Curtis would claim the second row for the 21-car field. Eversole quickly jumped out front to lead the event, but he would feel the pressure from Morris early. Eversole was using the popular groove as Morris used his front bumper to try to keep the heat on. Meantime, the rest of the pack closed in on the battle ahead. Caution would slow the event on lap 12 as Larry Bryant and Keith Cole tangled in turn 4. Morris had almost used up all of his front fender attacking Eversole. Again under green, and Morris was looking for a line around Eversole, while Worth Red and Donnie Clatterbuck banged fenders further back. On lap 19, Morris finally found a groove under Eversole. David Zimmer, Bobby Curtis, and others would follow suit. Eversole would slow and finally stop on the pit road entrance, bringing out the caution number 2. Morris would continue his winning ways as he made it 3 in a row for 1995. David Zimmer second, Bobby Curtis third, as Worth Red and Bubba Hubbard rounded out the top 5. Billy, we finally had to work for one tonight. Eversole slipped by you on the outside at the start, and finally you worked your way by him.
Yeah, it was cold tonight, and I had new tires, and the tires were cold. I wasn't going to hold him off. I was going to let him go on, and hopefully the tires would come in and work him. And, I didn't mean to get into it. I was being as patient as I could. I know we got together a little bit, but, the track was slick. He was sideways. I was sideways. I went low, and I think he went a little low, too. So we got together. I don't know, if that put him out or anything. I don't know what happened, but, I didn't mean to get into him.
It looked like he set up there and wait for you on that one lap.
No, I don't think so.
We'll wait and find out. Billy Morris, your winner tonight in the Grand Stock race.
Well, Billy and I have raced together a whole lot, in all different kinds of sports, and he races just as hard as I do, and he knows how I race. And he kind of, I don't know whether he messed up a little bit or sandbagged a little bit, but I got out front, and I made up my mind if he was going to go by, I was going to make him work for it. And I gave him the outside a couple times, but he really didn't want to go up there, which I can't blame him. My car was all over the place, but I just did my best to try to hold him off. I probably rubbed him more than he rubbed me. I don't think he even got into me unless I cut down on him. He might have bumped me once or twice coming down the straightaway just to let me know he was there, but it was all clean. If it was anything rough, it was me trying to hold him back, but I don't like losing. I like winning, so I wanted to go for it. I didn't want second again.
Well, right now you're the best of the rest, and you're catching up to him.
Well, we're trying. I got a lot of people I need to thank on the car. My car owner, Crystal Taylor, and her husband, Matt. My crew, Donnie Gerard and Will Collins, my wife, Michelle, and my little boy for letting me do this crap. And I need to thank one of our sponsors, Giuseppe's Pizza. He's come on board this year and helped us a whole lot. And we're going to get there. It's just that Billy's got a car that's been running for 4 or 5 years. Hell, it's won the last 4 track championships in a row, exception of last year, and he missed a few races. So we feel like we got our work cut out for us, but we're not going to give up. We're going to keep trying.
The Accutran Mini Stock 20-lap race would see Chris Phelps and Tyler McRae once again fill the front row in a 9-car field. Phelps would take the lead at the green and leave McRae to chase him all race long. On lap 3, Robert Johnston in number 33 and Jason McPeak in the 74 car would spin, and Lee Sear in 58 moved to third and seemed set to challenge the leaders. On the restart, Phelps would once again assert himself over McRae, while Sear would get loose off turn 4 and brush the wall, slowing him to third for the night. McRae would close to within 1 car length on the final lap, but Phelps would hold on for his second win of 1995. Chris Phelps is back in winner's circle after taking only 1 week off in the mini stock division. You didn't have quite as big a challenge this week, but he did get under you 1 or 2 times and let you know that he was there.
Oh yeah,
He's tough. I'm telling you. Like I'm telling everybody, he's going to be hard to beat. But our car ran real well tonight. We worked real hard during the week. We sort of got caught with our pants down last week and missed on the chassis pretty bad. But we got a lot of help. Talked to Rick Townsend. I was talking to Greg Deeth, and, you know, they just said, just go home and fix it. It's broke. Fix what's wrong with it. And Tom Ballas with the motor. We had plenty of horsepower tonight, but being real cool like this is definitely a good night for the engines. It's definitely an engine night with the cool weather. So, you know, I got to thank all my guys with the car, Castrol Motor Oil, the Virginia Army National Guard, Chesterfield Dodge. It's great. They just do a super job for us, and without the sponsors and everybody working on the car, none of this is possible.
Chris Phelps in mini stock, 2 out of 3 on the season.
Well, we lined the late model cars up here at Southside Speedway for their event tonight. And tonight's event is the Red Dog Road to Charlotte. With me is John Moose. Last week we talked about how grassroots are really not working here, and that you referred earlier, you work with the grassroots drivers. Explain to us, what is the Road to Charlotte?
All right, what we're doing, we're running the Invitational Road to Charlotte here to help someone to come to Charlotte by putting up additional prize money, putting up bonus money at Charlotte upon entering, qualifying, and starting the Red Dog 300 on May the 27th. This is our 19th year. The Red Dog 300 covers 3 states. We have a series of 10 events, and then we'll be paying extra bonus money here tonight. We'll give extra money at Charlotte. In addition to the money they get there, we'll give another $7,500 to the highest finishing invitational winner. It'll be a good payday for those that come and represent the Red Dog 300 from short tracks. We believe in the short tracks. Without them, there would be no super speedways.
You heard from Mr. Moose here at Southside Speedway. Red Dog, along with Miller Brewing, continue their support of the local racers along with the bigwigs and Winston Cup. Seasoned veterans Wayne Patterson and Eddie Johnson occupied the front row for the Red Dog Road to Charlotte 150. 2 of the young guns, Rocky Robbins and Bubba Urban Jr., would set out from row number 2 with Bugs Harefield and Shane Lockhart in row 3. Patterson would quickly take control of the top spot with Johnson holding second. Robbins would slip coming off turn 2 and lose several positions as further back Kevin Grubb and Ryan Farmer dueled it out for the spots. The battle up front was heating up, Johnson pressuring and Harefield turning up the heat on Lockhart. Caution fell on lap 27 for an incident involving Chris Dotson and Jim Sink that forced the leaders to take evasive action. Back to green flag racing and more excitement. Johnson works his way to the inside of Patterson just as Lockhart makes his move on Bubba Urban Jr. Urban and Lockhart would bang doors as they came off turn 4, and the K95 Pontiac driver had his hands full trying to stay out of the wall. Back to the front, and it was now a 3-way battle between Harefield, Johnson, and Patterson for the lead. Johnson moves to the inside to challenge on the unsponsored number 14, and the 2-touch on the backstretch, leaving Patterson with a flat and in the pits. 6 laps later, it's Harefield using the lap cars to his advantage as he moves by Johnson for the top spot. Kevin Grubb's bullet-sponsored ride would be sent airborne as he, Jim Thacker, Wayne Grubb, Scott Willingham, David Goad, and others piled up in turn 1. A short run under green and back to caution as Jim Sink nudges Goad and finds himself looping in turn number 2. Back to green and Johnson works by the Wise Machine on lap 88. The fight for the lead would continue as the fans enjoy one of the best late model races in recent history. The final caution fell on lap 188 as Chris Dodson developed a problem and bottled up the pack behind. Johnson would lead to the checkered with Harefield, Lockhart, Urban, and Ryan Farmer rounding out the top 5. No doubt the Red Dog 150 was a doggone good race. Well, here's the man that had a rough ride tonight, Kevin. You qualified great. It's your rookie season out here at Southside Speedway, but a rough ride to end it off.
Yeah, it's 2 weeks in a row. We have been qualifying good, been in the top 10 each week, and then getting a little trouble with some lap cars this week. Had one hit the wall right in front of me, and just bad luck. We'll be here next week.
He'll bring the Bullets ride back out. Let's go to Jerry as he catches up with the man that survived it all, your winner tonight, Eddie Johnson.
Well, you know, it really was. You know, the track was slick and the track was cool and makes some real good racing. And, you know, fortunately, our Ashton Ford Special Hygiene Thunderbird was able to come out on top.
But you had a real tough battle there. I mean, really, this was hard work tonight.
Well, it really was. You know, we run second to Wayne there at the start, and we got together with him. And, you know, later on, Bugs came up. He got by us, then we got back by him, and then he came back up behind us. And, you know, we were having brake trouble. Once the brakes got hot, they just didn't want to work right. And the tail end of the car would slide out, and that's what happened over there with Wayne Patterson. And, you know, just racing, I didn't drive in there and try and wreck him. Just one of them things that happened.
Successful night for the man who's on the Red Dog Road to Charlotte, Eddie Johnson. Now we'll go to Freddie with Shane Lockhart.
Thanks, Jerry. Shane, your best finish of the season so far. It's been a rough one for you this far out.
Yeah, we've had to battle back. You know, we didn't get a very good qualifying run today. We started out 6th, and tell you, we fought hard all night long, and we got to racing with Bubba Urban over there, and that was good hard racing. And we got up there with who else? It was a 16 car was back there when I about lost it over here. So we had some tough racing tonight, but Eddie and Bugs, they run a good show, and it's hard to beat those guys.
The Dominion Paving Charger 25-lap race saw Brad Skelding, untouchable so far in 1995 with 3 wins, start from the pole with Laval Bolduc on the outside. These two would not be challenged as Michael Greathouse and Mike Hall had their own battle going for 3rd place. Ricky Sanderson and Tommy Tatum were in an early battle for 3rd until they came together on lap 6, bringing out a caution that ended any chance the pair had to challenge. Tatum would again have a problem on lap 15 as he and Robert Fawcett would come together out of turn 4 with Fawcett spinning down the front straight. The caution-filled event would see Bolduc in 2nd, while Greathouse, Hall, and Dean Leslie would round out the top 5. Michael, you couldn't improve that position any, but I guess you're happy to hang in there based on what was going on behind you.
Oh, yes. I'm tickled to death to finish in 3rd. There's a lot of cautions here tonight. I believe if we would have kept going green a little bit longer, my car was getting better. Every lap it was getting better. It seems like my car gets a little better every Friday, but the first 2 place cars get even better. So we'll just keep working at it, and maybe I'll get a win this year, but I'll take a 3rd any day.
Now let's take a look at the first points listing for 1995, brought to you by Chesterfield Paving and Sealing.
Well, even though it cooled down out here at Southside Speedway, the action was plenty hot tonight. The Red Dog 150 featured one of the best late model races we've seen in a long time here at Southside Speedway. All the other divisions ran great as well. Next week, NASCAR joins us for the first time here at Southside Speedway as they have their dash for the cash here.
And we're going to take a look at all the rookies in the late model division from top to bottom. We're going to see what they've been doing this year.
All that and much more next week from Southside Speedway Illustrated. Here's the man who may have to lock Billy Morris up tonight. If the officials find Billy Morris illegal, are you going to lock him up? That's the rumor.
Who's to say what's illegal?